right. Good afternoon to you once again. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is the Sunnyside Show live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, and I am Omohefe Peace Osemere. This hour is where we talk about the national core values and the unknown. I've got Innocent Oba, and unknown. I've got Innocent Oba, and also Ugo Joseph, originator for Abia State. Tobasi is he a representative?
Yes.
Are you just a representative?
We are representatives.
Are you? Okay. Gentlemen, welcome. So, like I said before, this is an audience participatory program, and I would like to call in, ask questions, contribute to what we're looking at. All right, reclaiming Nigeria through patriotism. Once again, I'll quickly hand down the studio numbers. You can send in messages or even calls as we go conversational on this very topical issue. The numbers to call are 09073530044 or 09087668888. Send a voice note to our YouTube at by asking ourselves what patriotism is all about. What exactly do you know about being patriotic? How patriotic are you as a citizen? So, patriotism means love for your country and a willingness to defend it. It is a strong belief in one's nation that inspires citizens to commit their time, their talent, even their lives for the good of the country. So when we as Nigerians truly love our country, we will do everything within our power to make it great. Innocent Obasi rightly mentioned that he is a representative and equally a volunteer, if I'm not mistaken, because he's all out to chart the way forward. Because, I mean, we all have been yearning and aspiring for a better. Gentlemen in the studios, they are contributing their own quota. But I'm just wondering at this point in time, Innocent, looking at what patriotism is all about, love for your country, the willingness to defend it, and, it's a strong belief in one's nation that inspires citizens to commit their time, their talent, and even resources, because I know you put your resources on the line as well to be here every week, and even one's life. Please speak to that for a start.
Okay, so it is first a mindset, right? Patriotism is a mindset. The only way we can reclaim Nigeria and make it into the great nation that we all aspire that it should be is through responsibility. Okay. And that responsibility must come by inculcating these value systems that we preach week in and week out. Which one of them is patriotism, right? Every and any one of us as citizens must come to the point where we love our nation beyond what we get from the nation. You see, love is beyond what you get in return. For example, we who are coming here,
right,
we don't come because we are being paid. It's because we love the nation and we are interested in seeing that the nation becomes better, the nation moves forward.
Right.
So this is an ideology and a mentality that if majority of Nigerians, or if all things mindset, over time, Nigeria, whether it likes it or not, begins to get better. You see. So this is the idea that we're trying to push, because the problem is not Nigeria. The challenge is the mentality that is spread across the... Let's say, for example, right? If we take everyone in Nigeria and move them to the territory we call the United States of America,
right,
and bring everybody within America and put them into the territory we call Nigeria, you would see that we will, over time, make the territory look like what our mind is.
Okay.
You see?
All right.
So the United States of America will turn this territory called, this geographical location called Nigeria to resemble what they have in their minds. We Nigerians, we will turn the United States of America, that geographical location, to become what we have in our minds.
Okay.
You see, so when we become patriotic, it's a mindset. We love our nation. We will contribute every and anything that we can within our capacity to see to it that Nigeria moves forward.
All right, Joseph, being patriotic means that you have to commit your time, your talent, but is it really worth putting your life on the line looking at what is going on in the country?
If it really, when we talk about patriotism and putting one's life on the line for our country, it is a thing that not are willing to do.
Right.
And you wouldn't blame them, because over time, how do we celebrate patriotism? So you have people who have given their lives in the past for the cause of what they believe in this country, and then you find out years later their legacy is something that government who are going into very scary places to combat terrorism. Their lives, what do their family get? So these are problems. So there will be a little bit of a hesitation for anyone to be willing to give their life because of how we treat it. So what we should do is treat patriotic people like we should celebrate them as they ought to be celebrated.
True.
If someone does, there are things you shouldn't even deliberate. There are people who you shouldn't even. We shouldn't have any discussion or deliberation over what should be done for them or their family. Men who have given their life
Diligently.
Thank you. We should not even deliberate whether or not to cater for the God forbid, the children they leave behind, their wives, their family members, their aged parents. Now, this is how we will know that we are celebrating people, and then people will be willing to say, okay, because it is a normal thing. If I do something for you and you are thankful and you are really appreciative, there's a saying that when I see how grateful you are, it will make me want to do more. So it is natural. So if we are seeing a country that is not grateful for people's service,
Is it really a case of ingratitude or the ignorance? Maybe there are too many pressing issues on the table, and that's why patriotic people don't.
Because of all of the issues on the table, I mean, it wouldn't take anything to take out some time and appreciate someone who has given a lot to the nation, a few seconds or whatever it is, to appreciate someone who has done well. I think it is negligence, mentality towards appreciating people who are seen to be patriotic.
Okay.
It is a wrong mentality.
So
to encourage things that are good. Encourage, when you reward, that's the word, when you reward good behavior, reward people who are seen to be patriotic, when you do that, you encourage other people to want to be patriotic.
Okay.
Oh yes.
All right. Now let's talk about the benefits of patriotism.
Yeah.
All right. Before we talk about, because I know we have the Armed Forces Remembrance Day where we all go. Almost everyone in the country, we go out, to sing the praises of our fallen heroes. But at the end of the day, you see their families, their wives, the widows coming out to say that, 10 years after, nothing to show, that, their husband or my husband actually served this country diligently. Now he's no more. And I mean, we're even struggling to, make ends meet. So it's always, that's concern or complaint year in, year out, despite promises, from the government. And that's why I asked the question earlier, that could it be we have more pressing issues on the table, and that's why, these people are not really, appreciated as much as they should be. But that's just by the way. Now let's talk about the benefits of patriotism. For the listener on the other side of the radio who's just like thinking to his or herself, why should I be patriotic when I will not be appreciated or rewarded?
Okay.
I think reward is just the best, word to use at this point in time.
That is where we'll bring in balance, right? Patriotism is not because of what you get in return.
Okay.
Love doesn't give, what is it called now? love doesn't give reasons why it should be or you should show love. When you love your nation, you do what you have to do, irrespective of what you get in return. If you do get any recognition and reward in return, that is a plus. But if you don't, still love the nation regardless. You see. So one of the benefits of patriotism is to promote the common good of the nation. Now, if you see a nation that is patriotic, a nation, people coming together, bonding together to achieve a common goal, to achieve the greatness, this sport matches.
Yes,
right?
Super Eagles.
Yes, Super Eagles. You see, that unites the nation in a way that you would hardly see again.
Yeah.
Football has that ability to unite everybody. You forget who you're quarreling with, your neighbor who's winning you. Everybody's interested. Let our guys win. You see stuff like that. Now, if that goes beyond football into other areas and aspects, and we have that ideology that Nigeria is our own, that. So if we have that mindset that we usually have when it's time for this mindset across other areas, Nigeria would achieve a lot within a short period of time.
A lot in what sense?
Every sense. Every sense. When people love their nation, right? Starting from our leaders to you and I, right? We'll begin to invest so much as possible in the capacity we can, contributing to national growth. For example, someone who has a business to do is contributing to the GDP of the nation.
Right.
You are intentional, you're doing so well, right? Policy people who are our, let's say, our security guys, police, road safety and all of that. If you love your nation, you are doing your job better, you are more intentional, leaving all of this bribery and corruption aside and focusing on what you've been called to do. You see that now. So if all of us in our own areas are contributing because we love our nation within a short period of time, believe me, all of these things we are complaining about, it will be a thing of the past.
Okay, Joseph, I like that Innocent actually made reference to football as a unifying factor.
Right.
You know, I always see across social media platforms, people even make videos of themselves, from the comfort of their sitting rooms, watching the match, praying seriously for the players. And don't forget that the team consists of Muslims and Christians, the Northerners, the Westerners, the Easterners, and also the Southerners. So they put all of that behind them and are like, no, we just want to win. So it helps to build the image of our dear country Nigeria and also the prestige, right, before the international community, and it brings about some sort of loyalty over self-interest. But you now realize that we find it difficult to stay in that tempo shortly after that football match. Why is that? And then secondly, is football the only unifying factor that we have at this point in time?
I'll start with the last one. Is football the only unifying factor? Sadly, it seems to be so. Interesting when Innocent, cited that example. It's just a perfect example. You never see. I don't want to say never, but you may never see Nigerians so united, people so united over football, over anything as they are over football. And it is, for me, it is such a beautiful sight because it gives me a peek. I can now have a look into what can be if only we can agree on something, just one thing. And the truth is, it is, I don't know where, what other thing, but I think it's a thing we have to be very deliberate about it. So if we look at it critically, look at ourselves and say, okay, let's channel this same energy towards development of our country. Let's channel this towards holding our leaders accountable. It's like Innocent said, it will spread over every facet of our being as a country, economically, politically. At this point in time, you will hold people accountable for what they were meant to do that have been left undone. And as a result, it will automatically, the next thing you see is someone gets into office and they know that if they don't do what they are meant to do, people will ask them questions. And so they are forced. It's not even a thing of you are forced to sit up. And then over time, you see that different sectors of the economy would begin to work. And it automatically sends a message that the world cannot deny. It is a universal language. The international community would, in itself, on their own, begin to have respect for a people who know what is right and do what they are meant to do. So I think at this point we have to be very deliberate about what we want to do for our country, and begin from our little spaces, our little corners, and start being or doing the things we want to do.
Right.
We want to see, start being those things ourselves in our little spaces and corners towards promoting the image of our country. The same way you don't want to be seen as a bad person in your neighborhood or as a person who lies, because now everybody wants to be the right or the all moral and good
The
standing.
saint.
Thank you. The same way you want to do that within your personal space, do it for your country in the ways that you can, in your office as a civil servant, in your business as a businessman, even in schools as students or as teachers. Do what you are meant to do.
All right, do what you're meant to do. And we're leaving you the question. How patriotic are you as a citizen? Yesterday, I guess, let me just digress a little bit. I was having a conversation with a representative from the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, and they were just here basically to educate the public on energy theft and why it is wrong. And according to them, they have this whistleblowing line where you can actually just reach out to them and tell them that, they actually tag these people that usually do this bypass thing as free riders. I just saw someone and I fear this is a case of, energy theft. Just call the line and report. And the messages we got yesterday, someone was like, I cannot blow whistle for any ADC. So I'm like, people have their reservations, when you talk about being patriotic, because that also speaks to patriotism, whether you like it or not. Even the whistleblowing policy of the EFCC, for example, talking about the fight against corruption. How many Nigerians have really taken that to heart? That, this is corruption and I have to blow the whistle. Anyways, some will tell you that if I do that, would my identity be, protected at the end of the day or not? But is that really the bone of contention at this point in time? Or people are not just willing, they are not just interested in bringing about that change, as opposed to just apportioning blames on, the elites or the political class that we have?
I mean, you won't blame people, right? Because it is we have to force in the place we are right now as a country. We have to force people to believe in the system. Because
force?
We have to believe. I'm not saying coerce them, but you have to give them something. Let me put it differently. You have to give them a reason to believe.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, for example, with the example of the electricity theft and all of those things. Now, I should be able to have access to electricity when I recharge my meter. The only time I shouldn't have electricity should be when I've used up my
unit.
The unit. So when I do not have access to that, and when I do not enjoy electricity like that, I'm not justifying the action. But when we see that if you pay 10,000 naira for whatever unit for whatever it runs for, this period, and there is a guarantee that there will be electricity, all things being equal, people will adjust, because there is a system in place that if you give me one and I give you one, we are having two, it is guaranteed. That mathematical precision is a thing that would force us in a way to just bring us to the point that if I do my part, the other end will surely, the other part it will surely work. So it's what we have to do.
Okay, Innocent. Another benefit of patriotism is that it would inspire civic responsibility. I mean, it cultivates the mindset of asking, what can I do for my country, instead of what can my country do for me? But you know that the situation we're faced with right now is where the masses are just, waiting patiently to see what the country can do for them. How do we change that mindset?
Exactly what we're talking about, and even from what he's saying, right? It is true that sometimes the reason why the masses, the citizens like you and I, are not doing what we're supposed to do is because we are not getting in return what we are supposed to get in return.
Right.
That is true. However, let us understand that patriotism is first about love. And I'm saying this not just to the citizens like you and I. We're saying this to the leaders too. As much as possible, let us understand this mentality that patriotism is about love first, love for the nation. For example, right? The last time I was here after our session online, we were having a conversation.
Yes.
And he said something that in a community, the government brought in transformer. And some very wonderful young men in the community insisted that that transformer wouldn't be put there, that they are supposed to pay some kind of fee before. Now, this is not something legal,
right?
Or just that they have to pay all of these young boys,
the touts or the agberos,
that they have to pay some kind of fee before they install transformer that will give light to your community. You see that now? So that is an absence of patriotism, and the government is playing their own role in that aspect. To give you example of that conversation, he said that unfortunately he has seen that most guys abroad, Nigerians abroad, are the ones who dupe and scam their fellow Nigerians abroad.
Right,
For example, a Nigerian is abroad and you come in, if you ask a fellow Nigerian for help, he will
want to take advantage of you.
He want to lead to your death there. You see that? He will want to take advantage of you. Now, that is not patriotism. And there is no government in question there. It's simply a mentality.
But maybe they think since they are not within the shores of Nigeria, they can do whatever it takes.
Now, even if you want to do whatever you want, why do you want to take advantage of your brother or your sister? It's a mentality. You see, so it goes beyond even the government. We have to start from ourselves.
Right.
And begin to change our mindset. Because the average Nigerian, unfortunately, is greedy and selfish. Because
are you greedy and selfish?
we are working on that.
Okay.
FS. The average Nigerian
Right.
is greedy and selfish. Because explain to me how some hoodlums would need that you pay them before you can give the entire community
Right.
electricity. That means they are more interested in their pocket
Right.
than the betterment of their community.
And funny enough, when you interrogate people with such mindsets, they'll tell you, oh, well, the system has actually failed them. They don't have, access to good jobs and all of that.
Right.
And that's why they are constituting nuisance.
As much as there is a truth to that, but there are some people who have done well for themselves, even in the field system, and they have done it with integrity. Not people who maybe have gone the wrong route. They have done it with integrity. So, honestly speaking, because we have been giving these excuses for a long time.
Yeah.
And if we continue, it remains that way. Because the person who is a citizen now and saying the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because the system is not working,
Right.
give him 4 years. When he enters into power, he would say that same thing. Because my colleagues and the system is not working,
Right.
so therefore let me embezzle money from the government for myself, my family, and my generations that are yet to be unborn. Why other people are dying of hunger?
I mean, if we
It's a
all give the
mentality.
same excuse that, the system has actually failed and we all resort to corruption,
Exactly.
I mean, we become a zoo, an animal kingdom.
Exactly. And do you know one funny thing about corruption? People would only say it's corruption when they are not involved, when they are not getting anything from it. I'm telling you the truth.
Is that so?
The average Nigerian,
Right.
give him a cut of that corruption in people.
All right, let's see this message from Joseph. Joseph from Jai says, good afternoon, Eagles FM. Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is...
Belong to us.
What belongs to us, I think.
It makes what is... Okay. He actually quoted someone. Again, in all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results, and the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Quote by Allen, appreciation is very, very consequential. It creates more space for, from patriotism or for patriotism to, get expanded. I just hope I've been able to communicate your thoughts, Joseph from Jai. But did you make anything of this message?
That's true. The point of the whole thing he's saying is that when you reward, when you compensate patriotism, it gives more room for patriotism to expand.
Okay. All right. So, still the national core values right here on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, and we're seeing how best we can reclaim Nigeria through patriotism. The studio lines are still very much, active. Call in and share your thoughts with us, or just send a message. You might want to stay anonymous, no problem. Send a message or a voice note to the WhatsApp portal number on 090970544 and 50, or call 09087668888. You can also call 09073530044, or just leave a message on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be very glad to acknowledge your thoughts. So far, we've been talking about the ideals of patriotism, the benefits of patriotism, but at this point in time, I'd like you, Innocent, we're working with time, so just run us through very quickly, as much as you can, very practical steps to build patriotism.
Okay, I'll give a few while my brother
All right.
gives a few, all right? First is to know your country.
And
All right?
we all know.
Nigeria. That is all we know. Nigeria.
Is there more to it?
History.
Okay.
Yes, we need to know history about the nation, because you can only make the nation great moving forward if you know the past.
Okay.
The future, we get to the future at the back of the past. We have to understand what has happened before. So when you tell stories, you can't love something or someone you don't know. It is difficult to love someone or something you don't know. So our first responsibility towards being patriotic citizens is to know our country.
Okay.
Very important.
All right.
Then the next point is to promote unity in diversity. As much as possible, all of these sentiments, all of these differences that are not necessary, we should reduce it to the barest minimum and look forward to the goals that we can achieve when we are united. You see, so the average Nigerian should try as much as possible to this is how to become someone who is patriotic. Take away all of these unnecessary sentiments, you see. So we should do away with that. And the next point would be to make an intentional decision to be a responsible citizen.
Okay.
You don't have to be under supervision to be a responsible choice for you to be a responsible citizen. And now what does this mean? No rules. Pay, do not litter, report, do much as possible these little things. Play your own part as a responsible citizen. Let me over to my
All right, I'm Joseph.
It is that small, right? To by doing, I'm always an advocate for study from where you are, and do not engage in national practice. These are tests, of your integrity. It's your service.
I'm sorry to butt you, Joseph, but I'm sure you're aware of what happened in Ondo State, where a parent actually hired thugs to beat up the vice principal of a school because the vice principal had actually stopped the child from cheating. The vice principal was beaten to a pulp, like he was.
We should not even talk about this. We should not. How did we get here? It was a thing of shame to even be called up, like in exam hall, to stand up. It used to be a thing of now. How did we get here? So start from your little corner. Do what you are meant to do.
Right.
If you read your book, there is no how. To an extent, you might not even get a 10 out of 10. 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, no matter how it is. And then strive for excellence in your little space and corner. Do your job diligently. You go to the hospital as a nurse well. As a doctor well.
Right.
As a civil servant, serve in that office well.
Oh yes.
Showing up at work when you are there is nobody to check the time you show up. You know you are barely. You're not even. You are not doing what you are meant to. What you are meant to do, and you know there is a guarantee that you get salary. These are the problems. So, do what you are meant to do, and then support this country by being positive about it. You know, there is a thing we believe in my culture. It is better to chastise yourselves indoors, right, and then project yourself in good lights outside. You know, yeah. So we know where we know who we know ourselves. We can scold ourselves for our wrongdoing, but we should not project our weaknesses for the whole world to see. We would be demarketing ourselves.
But we have to be true to ourselves.
We have to be true to ourselves. But I'm saying that in doing that, that should not be the whole or the crux of all we talk about. We should, yes, if we talk about bad leadership, we should call out bad leadership, but we should also call out excellence.
Okay.
Yes, Nigeria is blessed with this, blessed with that. We can do this. We have people who are gifted in these areas. Let's project who we really are to the world, and not just the bad thing. It is very easy to talk down on other people. It is almost the most convenient thing to do, right? Like Innocent rightly mentioned it, that corruption is corruption when mostly in the most Nigerian minds it's corruption when you are not the one doing it.
Or you're not benefiting from it.
Thank you. So we should not be all and about the wrongs of other people. Let us also, as we are at the same energy we are using to push what another person is doing that is wrong, we should also project this country. Two wrongs cannot make a right. So that they are doing you wrong, you should do wrong. We are going to make this is our home. This is our country. We don't have any other one. I mean, I don't know about you. This is the only country I pledge allegiance to. I am a Nigerian. I'm not a citizen elsewhere. Even if I were to be a citizen in another country, but this is mine. I should protect it, because when push comes to shove, this is where you run back to.
Okay. There's no place like home, they say. Innocent, to wrap the conversation up, teaching the next generation is very important, but in a situation where we now have parents encouraging cheating, during exams, and even scolding teachers for rebuking their children for doing the wrong thing, I don't know what the future holds for all of us.
That is very disheartening, and that is why citizens, friends, colleagues, brothers, sisters must take the responsibility of preserving this ideology and teaching it to both the next generation and your generation.
Right.
Because you see, a person doesn't automatically become wise when they give birth to a child or when they start raising a child. No. People don't develop themselves by default. Personal development is intentional. The only thing that grows without your input is your biological growth. So just because a person is a parent, a dad, or a mom doesn't necessarily mean that the person is wise or that the person knows the right or the wrong things to do.
Right.
Somebody who are mentored all through their life will impart foolishness to their children. You see that?
Right.
But when we take it as a responsibility that, okay, this is my colleague, this is my friend, who maybe I have heard the truth and I know what is right. Take it as a responsibility to influence your friends, your colleagues, your brothers, your sisters to do what is right too.
Okay.
Teach them, encourage them, give them examples. You see, come in, don't just because the truth of the matter is, if you let them be, they are also spoiling the nation, which you are part of. You see, so let us see it as a responsibility to preserve this by teaching our generation and the generation coming.
Okay, Joseph, final words or thoughts in 60 seconds?
All right, be the change you want to see in Nigeria. Just be the change you want to see. That's all I would say. Let's just wrap it there.
Be the change you want to see. Innocent?
All right, whatever you want to see in your nation, whatever you want to become, whatever you want the nation to become, start from home. Start where you are, in your family. However you want Nigeria to be run it that same way in your family. All right? the same way in your company, the same way in your institution, churches, mosques, schools, wherever it is.
All right.
Replicate that change which you want where you are. And I believe if we begin to do this gradually,